Let me say good afternoon. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome all to the continuation of our public hearing on the implementation of the TSA. Introduction and implementation of TSA has helped in reducing corruption in public finance. This is in line with the commitment of the current administration to combat corrupt practices, eliminate indiscipline in public finance, and ensure adequate of interaction with stakeholders, which led to so many discoveries on the level of non-compliance to the TSA policy. It is important to note that the committee is not in any way out to witch hunt any person or organization. Rather, it intends to ensure that things are done the right way. In line with the agenda of the 8th House of Representatives, and the constitutional responsibility of the legislative, the committee will ensure that this laudable policy of government achieve its objectives. A key factor in ensuring sustainability of the TSA policy will be the presence of a strong legislative backing which will compel institutions to comply and implement the policy. As a parliament, we are determined to provide the legislative backing and pray that the Almighty shall guide our thinking, opinions, and actions throughout the session we are about to commence. I thank you all and wish us fruitful deliberations. Long live the House of Representatives, long live National Assembly, long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you. I just want to state that we have make it very clear and very categorical in our invitations that we will only require the chief executives of organizations to be present at our hearing so that, where issues are to be taken, as decisions are to be taken, those decisions can be taken. And we can hold responsible the chief executives of those organizations in all the issues that will be raised here, and answers will be given or responses will be given. I can see Nimasa that are here. Nimasa, you're welcome. Your chief executive is supposed to be here. He's not here. So I don't know whether it's the wish of the committee to carry Nimasa. If not, we would have to perhaps maybe deal with the issue of Nimasa in accordance to our laid down rules and procedures. Thank you.
In our tradition, we used to receive only MDs, considering the very essence of this public hearing. But in some cases too, if there are authorization by the MD, we receive his surrogate, not below the rank of a manager or a director. But if there is no authorization signed by the MD, we say why he is not here, and somebody can sit on his behalf, and we can count on the testimony of his surrogate. I don't think we can take somebody that just appear on his own, on his authority.
Okay. So it's the wisdom of the committee not to take Nimasa.
Yes.
So Nimasa, we will ask you to take your leave. You know the process of the National Assembly. We will write to Nimasa again, demanding. I hope you won't be caught just the way Intel had to be caught, because Intel had to be summoned here before they made their appearance. MD, is this system specs? Sorry, not Intel, sorry, system specs. No, you had to be summoned. We had to write to you a summon. It was a summon that was issued against you. No, that's what I'm saying is that a summon was issued against you. And that was why appearance had to be made because you were not here in the last meeting. So please, inform your chief executive.
We'll do so, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so very much, Mr. Chairman and members of the House. But all the same, he said I should come. He would love to be here himself because he's still part of this national.
And we said that at least chief executive must appear even if it is once. If they do, other sittings, if they will not be able to attend, they can write, sending in representation. So for UBA, they have been here before. Fidelity have been here also before. I'm surprised that Heritage and Skybank are not here because they have always been. Will be made by MPA. Will definitely touch on Intel, and that's why you're here. And I'm surprised that your chief executive is not here. None of your executive directors are here. So I don't know, do we take Intel or do we just take the presentation of MPA and then perhaps maybe give another date for Intel?
Mr. Chairman.
There's a letter already. There's an apology letter from Intel.
You did not respond in time. There wasn't any response that came. The submissions that MPA made, they made submissions before today. But no submission came from Intel until, as I was coming out of my office, walking towards here, that submission was given to me. And a copy of a letter was also attached to that submission. So I think it's been disrespectful to the committee. We will not be able to take that. I don't think we're here to waste our time. We're here, I think, in the interest of the nation. If you people think, that is the way you want to play it, okay.
No, we are very, very sorry, Mr. Chairman. That one is noted, and we are very, very sorry that our chief executive have not been able to be here because of health issues.
Okay.
Please.
The chief executive of NAPA, she's here. So we want to see, there are some answers, there are some questions you cannot answer. And we have already asked the other people to go out. So I think we should not listen to them.
Of the committee, if you want to remain, you can remain as observers, but that is the ways of the committee, and I so ruled.
The accounts that have been opened by Central Bank of Nigeria. We have the first account, which is First Bank UK, with account numbers detailed and location, which is a CBN TSA account being hosted by Central Bank through First Bank UK. There's also the second Central Bank TSA account, which is directly with Central Bank, and we have provided the account details accordingly. Other relevant collection accounts are as follows. We have opened an account for service boot collection, which is a Fidelity Bank account. This is an inflow-only account in compliance with the TSA policy. It's meant to receive payments for service boot collection, where Intels is the agent that collects these revenues on behalf of the Nigerian Ports Authority. Just to further expatiate on that, we had sought to ensure Intels complies to the Treasury Single Account provision, and we had obtained approval from the Accountant General and Central Bank for opening this inflow-only account. They had provided the accounts. We had embarked on several layers of engagement with Intels, which had culminated into the termination of Intel's contract for compliance to TSA. Following the determination, Intels have written to now state categorically that they will comply to the TSA, and they have commenced compliance to the TSA with effect from 1st of November 2017. They have further apologized to the authority on their hitherto non-compliance to TSA. So we have the account where Intels is acting as collection agent, and all invoices are raised in the name of Nigerian Ports, and payments are made to these two accounts that are transit accounts, which would be swept daily to the main central bank account. We also have an inflow account that had hitherto existed for collection of revenue. This is a Heritage Bank account. The Nigerian Ports has balance of $21.3 million in that account. That is also an info-only account, which the Heritage Bank was to have swept that funds into the central bank account. They have still not remitted those monies to Nigerian Ports Authority central bank account. In the last, from July 2016, since we assumed office, we have held various meetings with Heritage Bank, Central Bank Accountant General Office, and we have written, I believe, over 10 letters to compel Heritage to pay Nigerian Ports Authority and transfer these monies into our account. They are yet to make this payment. We are still following up aggressively on this through the regulator Central Bank with the active support of the Accountant General. So we still have monies that are held in Heritage account and they have not been remitted. We also have FCMB, First City Monument Bank. That was an account that was also opened for a service. It's a cargo tracking note. It had a total of 6 million euros in the account. This account has been taken over by Economic and Financial Crimes Commission as they seek to investigate the activities of that particular service that MPA had entered into. This was also done in 2015, I believe, but all relevant information has been provided. So this is our submission on TSA compliance. Thank you very much, Honorable.
Thank you, MD.
Can you please tell us the reasons that CBN has given to you for not helping you recover your funds from Heritage Bank?
Thank you very much, sir. CBN had called a meeting of Heritage Bank and ourselves, deliberated on the need for Heritage to make the payment. Heritage Bank had been concerned that those monies were not available. They had raised concerns about the fact that if the monies are paid to us, the bank might not be able to withstand that huge withdrawal of monies. We have maintained that that is not our business. These are monies that are meant for the government that must be swept into the account. The central bank had offered to provide us a guarantee, because what I said to the governor of the central bank is that my job is to ensure this money is collected. So to the extent that you're concerned that a bank might be distressed by moving of that money, you as regulator have to give me some guarantee, some comfort that this will be done. The governor had said they'll provide the guarantee. They have not. I've written a letter referencing that meeting, highlighting the need to provide us the guarantee as he has stated. We have not received a response. We have copies of all the letters that we have written to Central Bank. I think we wrote even last month to the Central Bank governor, sort of reminding and reiterating the need for Heritage Bank to pay all those monies to our TSA account with the Central Bank. Accountant General also called Heritage Bank for a meeting. Accountant General also has been very proactive. He invited Heritage Bank for a meeting, discussed a repayment plan. We also felt that Heritage Bank needs to pay us interest for all of these monies that have been held. We have communicated that to Accountant General and Central Bank for them to make that payment, but we're still not, the monies have not been paid at CBN rate, and they still have not paid.
So can you provide a copy of the letter which you have done that?
Actually, we have all of them are here.
Okay.
The letters.
They are in your,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll
Yes.
look at that. The issue that has to do with FCMB, I think is an issue that is of more concern to us because this is money sitting in FCMB, 6 million euros, and then it was just suddenly moved by EFCC to their own account. I understand, to their own account. From your submission, you said, they moved it to their own account. We would like to know, why this movement to their own account? Why not, to your own account in CBN, or perhaps maybe
we really
to government
are
account
not
in CBN.
privy to the reason why EFCC did that. I think they'll probably be able to provide clarity. They just unilaterally swept the money, so you can have, EFCC can provide more clarity. It could be a basis for the investigation that they are banking upon and all of such, but we had initiated the process of transferring the money to central bank, at which point EFCC now took the monies.
Why I'm raising this, can you up your mic? Why I'm raising this is because since you assumed office, has there been anything that has come to your front or to your desk that there is an issue pertaining this account? Or has there been any correspondence between you and EFCC pertaining this account? Perhaps maybe that must have flagged an issue that they are investigating the account. Were there any issues?
Mr. Chairman, they are investigating the whole service. So there's a project cargo tracking note. So EFCC was investigating the whole project in its entirety. So in the process, they have requested for documentation, they've requested for persons to go and make presentation, and I would want to believe it is part of the holistic investigation that informed the basis for collection of the money. But I think EFCC will be able to provide more clarity on that.
MD, the money that is meant for transfer to TSA, because when it goes to TSA, you know, it becomes our money. Is it still your money for your daily transaction, or money that is?
No, it's not our money for our activities. It's not. It's supposed to be a revenue account. It's not for us to utilize.
Belonging to Nigerians.
It's a federation account.
Yeah. Belonging to Nigerians, all of us.
Well, yes, we need to be mindful of that, because all revenues that we generate, we send to TSA account.
I understand.
So the manner with which it's distributed and apportioned as monies for federation account, or monies that a revenue generating agency can utilize, still using TSA. So even for our own day-to-day, even our salaries take root from TSA. So everything is...
So this component, this money,
yes,
is it for the federation account or for your daily consumptions?
No, what I'm saying is that you cannot differentiate it from revenue perspective. Say this account, if Intel pays this amount, is for me to pay salary. It's like the totality of the revenues that we generate, a percentage of it in totality now goes to consolidated revenue, and the totality of it now is utilized for our day-to-day. So we don't differentiate it from when it comes in. Is when it gets into the pool, then MPA now has a percentage of what it uses and a percentage of what goes to. So with these monies, you cannot unilaterally say, oh, it's actually meant for us, or it's actually meant, but fundamentally it's meant to go to the Treasury single account for whatever use it will be. TSA is the custodian, I'll say, or the repository for all revenues. A bit you use it, or a bit you remit it to consolidated revenue funds.
When you say 6 million, are we looking at, sorry, MD, when you say 6 million, are we talking of the totality of the monies there, including the interest, and how long has it been there? Because EFCC could have taken 6 million. What about any extra monies that accrued because the money was domiciled in that account? Thank you.
Okay, important to understand with banking procedures, in certain instances, the interest is not there. It's not necessarily in the account. You really have to request for it and compute it, and then it will be added to it. But that is the total amount of the monies that were in the account.
The EFCC took over the account. Is it that they moved the money, or they frozen the account and took it over, and that the account is no longer operational, and the revenue collection from that agency, has it stopped? Have they stopped using the account, or they're still generating more money and putting it into the account?
Okay, the service of CC froze the account.
Yeah.
Then they move the monies to their account, which we have provided details of where the monies have gone to.
All right.
Yes.
Chairman, I move a motion that we invite...
That's though you are compelling me to accept your motion and then ask who will second the motion. I think I'm sitting close to you. In favor, I'm reluctant to say that. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. So the ayes have it. Clerk, please take note. EFCC is to be invited in our next sitting on this issue or on this matter. Thank you. The submission which you have made, you know, if our members are given members are given more time, they will go through there where we're coming from. On the issue of Intel, I just want to find out from you. I do understand that Intel are holding certain amount of money which they have not remitted to the TSA. Are these monies still with Intel, or have they remitted these monies?
Remitted those monies to Nigerian ports. They're yet to remit the revenues.
When you say to Nigerian ports, are you saying to TSA?
Yeah, Nigerian ports TSA account on service boat collection. So that has not been remitted for the period that they hadn't been doing the remittance. It's for a 10-month period, I believe. Yeah, thanks.
MD, if I heard you correctly also, you said that Intel has written an apology letter to you, and they are going to oblige on from November 1st. So I feel if I don't have a relationship with you, why should I be apologizing to you? Or I can understand the two situations. Can you please explain?
What we issued to Intel was a notice of termination. In the contract agreement and in contract agreements, the provision for termination comes with a notice. The notice of termination, which will culminate after 3 months. So there's a procedure to termination, which starts with the notice of termination. So in between the notice of termination and the culmination of the termination process, parties reserve the right to do either way. So there is indeed a relationship between Nigerian ports and Intels, even while there's a notice of termination.
I asked you this question so that at least.
Well, the issue is not material to how much money they're holding. It's to do with compliance to TSA. To the extent about how much money they have is revenues collected from the period of last year, November 2016, to date, of an average of $13 million every month, whereby Nigerian Ports Authority would have, I'll say, about 30% of that. So we're looking at about $300+ million, 30% of that amount. So there is just to reiterate that the relationship is not to do with what you have kept, but to do with the fact that you have no business keeping.
MD,
yes.
That is for you. Our concern is to find where that money is. And our concern is that every money should come to the account of government. So it is our responsibility here to make sure that whoever is holding government's money, release that money or transfer that money back to government coffers. Because we are looking for money. You know yourself that, this government is really looking for money to, work for the people. And that is why today even, was it yesterday, we had to consider, the Eurobond loan that the president brought before the House. I mean, if we do have, monies hanging somewhere, or some people are just, why should we go there? I mean, we will perhaps maybe reduce that amount of money that we have to go to borrow. So our concern here is to know how much they are holding, because we have to ensure that that money comes to government.
Thank you very much, sir, and it gladdened my heart to see the House speaking in this manner, because I noted that there's a motion that was moved on the floor to investigate the Nigerian Ports Authority for terminating Intels. There's a further directive that NPA should suspend its termination. So today, I'm very... No, sir, I would have to... it's important that I finish my statement, because today I see that the House of Representatives now being concerned about the revenues of government, and it gladdens my heart. It's the same House that have directed Nigerian Ports Authority not to suspend its termination of Intels in getting Intels to comply to pay government money. So I'm very happy that the House has reached a situation where it appreciates the need to have private entities comply and make payment of government money into the revenues. In addition, these details that you require on exact amount that is with Intels will provide it to you by tomorrow morning. We would submit to you the exact amount of revenues that are currently being held by Intels. Just to also add, Intels also, there's an indebtedness. Nigerian Ports is also required to pay Intels for a service. There's an amount of about $700 million that we owe Intels. So this is an issue of, reconciliation to a certain there's an issue, so I just want us to be clear. Intel has monies that it has held, it will pay us and give us an invoice and we'll pay Intel, and we'll continue paying them until we are able to pay up the 700 plus $600 million that they owe us. So we'll give you all we owe them. So we'll give you all of that information to enable you compel Intel to pay Nigerians its money. Thank you, sir.
MD, I think I need to perhaps maybe educate you a little bit about the workings of the National Assembly. You know, part of the way we work by motions and also petitions. Petitions are laid or motions are brought before the House. You know, whether they are right or wrong, we need to work on them to ascertain whether they are right or wrong. And that is the only way we can find out. And that is why we call it investigate, or investigative, or to investigate whatever is being brought before the House. So if the issue of Intel as in termination of the contract has been brought in before the House by way of motion, it was rightly done by way of motion because it's a procedure of the House. It's the House of the people. So whoever feels that he's being shortchanged, or whoever feels that he has an issue in Nigeria, this is the House he will run to and bring his complaint before the House. And that is the way and manner we had to treat that matter. So if they feel that perhaps maybe the way and manner the termination was done is wrong, it's for them to lay their complaint, and it's for the House to do the investigation to find out whether the right procedure has been followed in discharging them or in terminating their own contract. Whatever the outcome is, that is what the House will now work as in their own resolution of the House. So for that, it's not it's not this committee that is working on that. So I will leave it to that committee when they perhaps maybe do their own investigation and do their own findings. At the end of the day, they will now know which is the true position. But our own is the TSA money. Wherever that money is, that is my concern. The responsibility shouldered on me and the committee, entire committee here is, let's look for that money. Yes. Whoever is holding our money must bring our money, because we want that money and the country needs that money. And I'm sure you do know that we need that money, because as being somebody who is part of the government, you're aware. For the bankers, they are not so worried about, they are worried about holding that money and making money out of that money. But we are worried about getting that money to work for people, because that is the only way our government will show that, yes, really, we are working for our people. So I think if there is no any other issue, we can allow the MD to take a leave. And once we get your submission on the how much money is being held by Intel, another date will be slated so that the chief executive will be here to defend why he's holding that money, why he's not releasing that money. And then, as I said, if there are issues regarding your submission, we'll also look at that. And we're also inviting EFCC. Once we do that, we'll let you know, because they will also have to be here to defend the money which is being held by them. Yeah. So we can allow MD to go?
So, and Heritage Bank too, I appreciate that.
Yeah, we'll do that once they're here, all of them.
We're discussing for 1 year. I mean, I find that a bit funny. Like, so please, yes, let's get our money. Thank you, sir.
Is you're holding NNPC money. We know why you're holding that money, because you're compelled to hold that money because the money has been garnished. Abi? There's a court case.
Not already garnished. We gave a guarantee on their behalf at their request.
Okay.
And part of the contract is that we hold $80 million as security for that guarantee.
So the money you're holding is part of the guarantee which you provided for.
What case they have overseas?
They have a court case. Why?
Well, I don't know. They have a court case with one of their clients, and they were expected by the court to pay $80 million to the court. Okay. But they chose to either give a bank to guarantee them in Nigeria, either give Nigeria any interest on that money than paying it to the court. So the alternative is either if we withdraw a guarantee, they'll be compelled by the court to pay that money offshore.
Now, the issue why you're here is not about the money, because we know the money is, surrounded by court case. Because, you had to hold the money because you had to provide a guarantee on it. Why you're here is we want to know whether you have been paying interest on that money to NNPC. In any case, not to NNPC now, whether you have been paying that interest on that money to the TSA account. Where has the interest gone, if at all it is? Or have you been just accumulating it and just putting it aside in one account?
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, and honorable members. The last time we were here, we were asked to provide evidence that the interests were paid and how those interests were paid. And we submitted a schedule that showed the interests were paid, the number of days, the rates, and also submitted telex copies that show that money was remitted abroad, as well as when the money was paid into the account, pre-TSA, and we indicated, we have the statement of account of NNPC, indicating where those interests were paid. And then we also have telexes. We also have telexes to show that those monies were eventually remitted to the account. And these documents were submitted to the honorable members of the committee.
There, your document. You will notice that there is a difference between the actual interest paid and the expected interest to be paid.
There was a difference. What happened was some taxes were taken, not to be taken because NNP is not able to pay tax. And when that was realized, usually what you do is when that is done, because our system is configured, our system is not configured to take taxes on some customers and not some customers. The way that account is configured, it takes taxes, but you reverse the tax and pay back for the government coffers, where the body is not expected to pay tax. NNPC is not expected to pay tax, and so those differences were remitted to the government. And they will have the telex copies to show that those monies have been transferred.
What you are saying is that money meant for NNPC was wrongly remitted as withholding tax to government. Is that what you are saying?
Now, what we are saying is the money was remitted to NNPC, it was deducted in error. Because the way the system is configured, if you have a fixed-term deposit, there's a tax expected to pay on your interest. And because NNPC account is one of the accounts that we have, the system took that interest. But realizing that NNPC is not able to pay tax, we gave NNPC back their money to say this was deducted in error.
Can you give us evidence that
we have
difference?
the telexes who have sent in all the documents that.
Can you refer to, in your document, can you refer to which of the telex are you talking about that paid the difference?
Okay, there's a document titled Telex Message for the Withholding Tax Deducted from Interest Paid in Yeah. This is we submitted this document it was acknowledged on the 8th of this 5th. You also see where we paid $32 million, $32,000, sorry. We also have $15,000 showing in those, in line with the differences that you see. The total interest came to about 100 and something, 123. No, we have, okay, 32 plus 15 comes to 43 plus. Then you add another 51.3. Then you add another 25. Everything comes about $123,000, which is in the schedule as well. If you look at the difference in the schedule, you will see the, sorry, I'm not seeing this plan. The total difference is $123,988.54. So you are saying this 36 yes, difference corresponds with this amount.
Okay, in the last letter we wrote to you.
Yes, sir.
In the last letter we wrote to you, we requested for certain information that you needed to give.
We also provided information in our letter dated, sorry. In our letter dated November 1st, we listed the issues, we listed the documents that we submitted the document. But we submitted the document earlier by letter dated.
Clerk, can you confirm that?
Yeah.
Have they submitted those things that we requested?
Sorry, let me just get the letter because we wrote 2 letters attaching documents. Okay, the letter dated 10th of October, where we submitted letter from NNPC requesting for this. May 3rd, 2005.
To date.
Yes.
How many years?
This will be about 12 years.
So you are holding this money for 12 years. When do you intend to bring back this money?
We are not completely, it depends on there's a court case, a case in court.
No, the court case shouldn't run forever. Holding $80 million Nigerian public money for 12 years today.
Hello, yes, sir. Coincidentally, it's a court case abroad. We don't have control over court proceedings. So we can't tell the court how long we take to discharge a case. Just like you have a case in Nigeria, the court adjourns them and all that. We don't have control over that. And as much as I remember, in this contract, we are not party to that case. We're only providing a guarantee.
So have you been renewing the guarantee?
Definitely. Based on request from NNPC, we renew the guarantee. We renew the guarantee.
Request of NNPC or
Yes.
the client who took them to court?
NNPC. Because if we don't renew it, they will be asked to pay the money to court. So that's a choice.
I think the interest rate from 2-point-something% to 0.5%. Because this is money you have been holding for 12 years.
Yes, sir. The interest we pay is based on, partly based on market rate and based on agreement between us and NNPC. And I think I also want to give a little background to this guarantee. Now, ordinarily, a court may not accept the guarantee of a Nigerian bank. A foreign court would be wary in accepting the guarantee of a Nigerian bank. So it's a foreign bank that has guaranteed that amount. And so we are just, giving some guarantee to support that bank. And so whatever charges that, also for that, there's also charges that are being paid. So the interest we're paying is a function of what we're paying to that bank, a function of the market rate, and a function of the agreement between the NPC.
But you have not answered the question the chairman is asking you. You started paying 2.2%, and now you are paying 0.5%.
That's what I'm saying, sir. That
Even when you were paying 2.2, there are those three functions you called.
I agree, sir. What pulls interest, the primary determinant of interest rate is.
Maybe what we need to ask you is,
Okay.
when did you stop paying 2.2%?
The history you will be in the schedule provided. But Mr.
I was asking you, when did you, I'm saying you should speak to us. When did you stop?
Of the existing arrangements are still just posted in bulk, and it's been raised at some of the stakeholder sessions that the Office of the Accountant General is not actually able to analyze those transactions. So those exceptions, I believe the Office of the Accountant General should be able to speak to them.
No, I think this is a major concern to us. Honorable members, I want us to take note of it.
Yeah, was suspended. And that puts significant pressure. Yeah, and for over a year, we were not paid. From October, about October.
About this time. But when that was sorted out, were you paid all your?
Unfortunately, as we speak, it has not been fully sorted out. The only thing that happened.
Can you provide to us how much you are supposed to have been paid and how much you have been paid so far? How much is outstanding?
Okay.
As per the renewed agreement, because I'm sure after that, after the Senate investigation, that was when you had to come to a terms and agreements were drawn, and then it was agreed that you should be given some payments. Am I right?
You're right, sir.
Okay, so can you provide to us that information? And I think you have two types of payments. You have the e-collection payment and then the e-payment. So which one have you been paid? We need to know.
We don't have a problem on the e-payment side. I mean, that had been going on, no problem. Where the problem came up was on the e-collection.
That's what I'm saying. Provide the information on the two. Which one you have been paid, either the e-payment or the e-collection. And if you don't have a problem with the e-collection, the e-payment, sorry. If you don't have the problem with the e-payment, we need to know how much you have earned on the e-payment so far. And then who pays the e-payment? Is it the same source? Or do you have other arrangements in terms of how the e-payment comes to you? We need to know. Okay? And I saw
maybe
the information should come to us.
Sir. The
Information
to provide
let me
information.
On this. Information should come to us latest by Tuesday next week.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'm aware too there are other IT service providers that are you competing with, or they are also providing service to government. Are you aware of that? Yes or no? I'm asking you for a yes or a no. I said I'm aware that there are other foreign service.
Process has been followed in terms of who and who have can provide same kind of